Hello again, and welcome to another episode of No Prize Podcast. I am the Professor Bud Young, and with me, as always, from across the pond, is Johnny the Machine Hughes. How are you, Johnny?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Also with us again is he who has no nickname, is Lucas.
Wepa! Let's keep riding on, baby.
How are you, Lucas? How was everybody's week?
Mine was all right. Can't complain. It's been a fun little week, have to be said. I've downloaded this new app on my phone. I think it's called, let me just check it out because it's really cool, Marvel Future Fight.
Marvel Future Fight?
Yeah, I've been kind of addicted to this. It's available on Android and iPhones, so go and check it out. You get a team of 3 characters. You've got to weave through cities and beat bad guys and heroes and level up and stuff.
Yeah, that's where they introduced Arrow and Swordmaster, isn't it?
That's the game from that Agents of Atlas
Yep.
book. Okay.
It may well be, but it's a mobile game. Didn't cost me anything. I'm having a blast playing it. I am currently rocking the Captain America Winter Soldier look with the Captain Marvel, the Miss Marvel original outfit because I'm old school. And Iron Man. So there you go. Captain America, Winter Soldier, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and Iron Man. But all of them are in there. Spider-Man with the black suit, loads of different crazy stuff. Even the Avengers from Endgame are in there. So if you really, 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 really want to, you can play as Fat Thor.
Oh.
With 2 hammers.
Sign me up.
So I guess I know what I'm going to be doing with the rest of my Saturday.
So wait, I'm writing this down. Marvel Future Fight.
Yeah, it's available in your Play Store right now.
For free?
For free to play. It's the usual stuff. You can pay to get extras thrown in, but generally, I haven't paid any money on this, and it's a blast. It's I'm halfway. I do some of the story levels. There's like hidden quests going on. You can play. There's an X-Men thing going on right now. So I've got Rogue, Gambit, Cyclops, Wolverine. So I've got Mr. Fantastic. And the good thing about this game over other games of their ilk is that every time you register, you get every day you get a free character, so it doesn't cost you any money. So admittedly it's a 1-star character, but you get that. So then you get to sort of like level them up all the time and stuff. So it always feels like you're getting something. It's not like you're grinding away for nothing. Take a note, Injustice 2, your play rewards are terrible.
How many characters do they have in the game?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to turn the damn thing on now. Hang on, give me 2 seconds. Talk to Lucas while I work it out.
Yeah. Hey, so we got a gift this week. We got a gift of books early. So
Yay.
So we're gonna be reviewing some of these books that aren't even on the shelf yet. So by the time this podcast drops, everybody's gonna be having their books in there for the first time. So.
Yeah, it should be interesting. So people will have even more of a reason to listen to because we're going to be trying to give them our perspectives right after they get it. So it should be interesting.
We'll see if Marvel can continue that trend of giving us early books. That would be nice.
Yeah, it would be. Yep.
So
which one are we doing first?
So since Johnny's looking up to find how many characters are in Future Quest or Future Fight, whatever the heck that game is, let's start with are we doing Silver Surfer Black #1?
Yes, we are. Yeah,
we are. Okay. Well, Lucas, take it away. What did you think about Silver Surfer Black?
Well, so this one was written by the anonymous Donny Cates and Trad Moore. Silver Surfer Black. Yeah, I mean, earlier this year it was actually revealed that some of Marvel's cosmic heroes they were sucked through this black hole that was caused by Thanos' Black Order. If you haven't been keeping up with that one, within the pages of Guardians of the Galaxy #1, the annual, a handful of those heroes had managed to escape. Such as Star-Lord, Groot, Beta Ray Bill, I think Fallen Veil was in there, Moondragon, Cosmic Ghost Rider. and they were actually helped out by Silver Surfer. And Silver Surfer was the only one that was actually sucked into that black hole. Now, when he gets sucked through that black hole, he actually comes to this really dark ass planet, and he comes upon these sentries that are guarding something. Now, all he wants to do is he just wants to talk to these guys, but he ends up freaking battling with these guys, kills each and every one of them. Right now, spoilers. I'll give you 10 seconds to turn me off for a little bit. But behind this freaking door is Null, the god of the symbiotes, which was absolutely fantastic because Donny Cates, that's him bringing together the characters that he's been creating over the last year. The I actually loved it. The freaking art was absolutely fantastic. For this whole cosmic thing going on, it's a little trippy. So don't do any freaking mushrooms before you freaking read this thing. The flow was absolutely nice. I love the ending to it. The covers, once again, Marvel went crazy with the freaking covers. And there's no blue chip book out there right now. I kind of like the Clayton Crane right now, but it's not going to get you a lot. You're going to spend a lot not get back a lot on your investment. What did you guys think?
So I loved it. I thought it was great. I've never seen Trad Moore's art before, so I didn't really know what to think about going in. But as soon as I saw the first page, when it really looked like a Silver Surfer actually looked like an alien, which for the first time ever, really. There's a picture where you usually see the the hero with the 6-pack abs, and he's got literally like 17 abs or something like that. I was like, oh, okay, so this is different. You're definitely right about the art being super trippy. It reminded me of maybe some Steranko, and I can't even remember some of the other artists that I've seen that it's kind of like almost that Doctor Strange type psychedelic magic world type stuff. But that's when he goes through the black hole. Or while he's going through the black hole. I thought it was cool. You get a lot of cosmic characters that get a kind of an appearance in here when he saves them all from the black hole. And then, the last page, and I've been reading Venom, so seeing Null there kind of threw me for a loop until I remember Donny Cates was writing this. And I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense now because Donny Cates is kind of, maybe keeping in his own little world. And now he's going to involve Silver Surfer with Null instead of Venom, which might build up Null some credibility with me because right now he's just a Venom villain. For a Silver Surfer book, because I think with Silver Surfer you can either write him very, very good or very, very bad, and I think that this was one of those very, very good ones. It makes him feel more alien, it makes him feel more cosmic in a sense, and he's not bound to Earth with the trials and tribulations of trying to relate to humans. This is definitely a cool book to kind of get behind. Johnny, what did you think of Silver Surfer Black?
197. That's how many characters are in this game. 197.
I thought we were getting away from our flame-ons for a second there. I was
I
like,
was like, what? 100. There's 197. There you go.
Wow.
That is a shed load of characters.
Yeah, it is.
So there you go. Enjoy. The book, Silver Surfer. Let's see. So, I kind of agree. There's a couple of things I've got going on with this. So very much like Doctor Strange got pulled into another dimension, so has the Silver Surfer. So well done, Marvel, for yet again thinking about let's have a great idea and let's ram it down people's throats in multiple books. Thank you. There's a couple of guest stars in there that are supposed to be elsewhere, but at least this time they're given prompts as to, hey, to see what happens, check out Guardians of the Galaxy. Hey, don't forget to check out Guardians of the Galaxy Annual to find out what happens. I'm like, okay, thanks. I did like the book. It's an interesting read. The art by Trad Moore's you're absolutely right. It is super trippy it does remind me a little of an artist from Marvel a few years back called Cynthia Martin, who was on the Star Wars book as it ended, and also a little bit of Rick Leonardi in there for some of the kind of poses that he gets put into.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. With another level of creativity in the alternative dimension, you get to see people like Dave Stewart, who is a colouring maestro. For fans of the Mignolaverse and Dark Horse books, Dave Stewart's kind of the colour god over there. The writing, okay, so I like the kind of idea behind it. Are we saying that this black hole universe is where the symbionts come from? If their god is there, is that the idea? Is this Marvel's version of dark metal? I don't know. The only thing I've got about it's an interesting read, but I think Cates is a little bit too pretentious in this book, and some of the scripting and the dialogue. For the inner monologue at least, it feels like he's in full Grant Morrison mode, and it's just. After about halfway through the book, I was kind of like, right, I get it. I understand. You are the star. You are the sun. You are this. You are that. You're the antithesis of dark. Yeah, I get it. And it was like, by the time I was finished, I was like, you know what, just, it is kind of heavy in places. Scoring-wise, I would give this a Mr. Fantastic. There you go. I'm intrigued.
Well, this is a flame on for me, so I think you should check this out. It is trippy, and we don't get enough trippy from Marvel. The last Silver Surfer series was pretty trippy. I like that, but this is good.
Cool.
Except for the black glove thing. What's going on with the black gloves?
You know what they say? No glove, no love.
Jesus.
Yeah. I can't believe I set you up for that one, Johnny. Lucas, what would you give this?
Oh, it's an absolutely flame on, because I've been following closely what's been going on with Thanos and the Guardians of the Galaxy and the whole Venom thing, and they've basically been setting this up since Null arrived 3 years ago. Back from God of Thunder. So, because you were talking about the whole black hole thing, yes, he has, like, when there was darkness, it was only him. And the thing that's been separating him from the rest of the darkness is all the light. So, the question is a portal to his homeworld or whatever at the end of every black hole? I don't know. But all this, I feel like all this is going to eventually spill into the whole Cult of Carnage thing that's happening later on this summer, and that's the direction they're pointing to. But I definitely love the setup, and I like the direction they're pointing us to. So this is definitely a flame on.
All right. So next review, what are we jumping into? Let's jump back to last week, and the book that Johnny has been waiting for with bated breath.
Bated breath.
Would be Black Cat #1. And Johnny, take it away. Tell me what you think.
You think that I was looking forward to this book?
I thought that you were the big Black Cat fan, and you wanted to be all over this book. So tell me what you thought.
You are absolutely right. I have been looking forward to this book for so long. I am a big Black Cat fan. Primarily because I liked the way she was in love with Spider-Man, not Peter Parker, and kind of the things she went through way back when. This book is a little bit different. She's a lot more confident in her own right. She's out doing heists for fun. It does tie into Amazing Spider-Man because she's running afoul of Odessa Drake from the Thieves Guild's mistress, which kind of is the thing where she was stealing all the Thieves Guild was stealing all the superhero implements like Iron Man's glove or Captain America's shield and all that sort of stuff. Story-wise, it's a bit of a chase, isn't it? It's a bit Thomas Crown, a little bit chase in there just to sort of like set the scenes so you kind of know what's going on. I think the art, it's written by Jed McKay, who's caused a bit of a storm with his Death of Daredevil storyline. But this is more about no angst. It's just about a fun book. The main story is art by somebody.
Travel Foreman.
There you go, Travel Foreman. There's a unique first name. It's kind of dynamic and glamorous all at the same time, and so that it kind of has that. You're going to get some cheesecake in there because it's a female character, but it's not high on the list. It's all about the action panels, and even if she's gliding through the museum piece, she looks elegant. So I think that's really great. A couple of back issue stories are on this. You get a quaint little, would you say, young adult style? I don't know, manga style Black Cat, which with art and written by Nao Fuji, which I found really peculiar because even though the face looks very manga and kind of young adult, they've drawn Cat's body curvy, to say the least. Which is fine. Each to their own. I mean, you know what you're going to get when you buy a Black Cat book. It's kind of like, you're going to get some curves on curves, which is totally fine by me. The last story is a bit of a throwaway. Again, written by Jen McKay, art by Mike Dowling. It's kind of a throwaway at this point, but it does tie into the main story. This is the book that DC wishes their Catwoman book was, pretty much. So this book's a huge flame on for me. There you go.
So I might go against you there, Johnny, because now you given the compliment of this of DC wishing that this was their Catwoman book. I read this entire book and put Selena Kyle in every panel that Black Cat appeared, and it was a Catwoman book.
Well, but the Catwoman book that DC's putting out right now, as much as I love Joelle Jones' writing, the art isn't always fantastic. It doesn't carry along that sort of vivaciousness that you expect from either Felicia or Catwoman. I think that the tone of the Catwoman book is dramatically different, in that she's all driven by giving up the engagement, which was her choice, by the way. I get where you're coming from. If you go back to sort of like the Chuck Dixon, Joe Duffy, Jim Ballant Catwoman from the 90s, yes, I totally get where you're coming from. Does that mean that the marketplace is done with that style of storytelling and that style of comic book art? I think not. I think Marvel, who I think when they do their strong female lead characters, they do them well. Look at Mockingbird, Spider-Woman. They've kind of, they need to get back to doing stuff like this. And this sort of book is a throwback. People are going to hate it because it's like, oh, look, J. Scott Campbell's cover, and oh, look, it's all leg and boobs and stuff. But the thing is, the comic book marketplace, it doesn't have to be one size fits all. You can have mature books, you can have young adult books, you can have cheesecake books if you want cheesecake books. It's up to you. Buy them or don't buy them. Simple.
No, I agree with you. Hey, so me being the professor, this kind of went over my head here. The Black Fox is Black Cat's dad?
Yeah, I was kind of thrown for that. I was like, really? Because I know they've had... I mean, to be fair, the last time I saw the Black Fox was back in something like Amazing Spider-Man 303 or 305, which was Dave Michelini or however you pronounce the surname. Because I know we disagree on that.
I believe it's Michaelini. I believe Joe introduced me to him as Dave Michaelini, and I said, "Hi, Mr. Michaelini." He did not correct me, so.
All right, if you're gonna be like that about it, you know what I'm saying? It's harsh.
So that's me. Always name dropping.
And in the Todd McFarlane book. So I kind of it's been a while since I've seen the Black Fox, but it kind of makes sense to an extent. Both thieves. I know it might be a little bit retcon, but I genuinely don't have a problem with that. So yeah. I thought the book was a good, fun read. I thought it was enjoyable, and that's what I want. That's what I want to buy a comic book for. I want to buy it to enjoy it, to have fun with it, and kind of just go with the flow. And that book fits this bill for me.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. With you know what I enjoyed mostly about it was the three stories. Like I liked getting three separate stories, even though one of them was kind of like a 3-page like little joke kind of book story. But
It's value for money. The book's $4.99, so you want you want a little bit more, right? And
yeah,
I like the fact that it didn't link into Spider-Man, other than you had to know what was going on with the Thieves Guild to get the whole arch nemesis stuff going on. But other than that, I think it's pretty good as a standalone.
yeah. You know what? I'm looking up Black Fox, and I don't see any reference to him actually being Black Cat's father. So this might actually be a revelation here in this first issue of Black Cat.
It could also be a scam.
Uh,
I think not, because she calls him dad, so that kind of pretty much gives that away. So yeah,
Interesting. So Lucas, what did you think? And can you tell us if this would make the book go up in price if they reveal that the Black Cat is
Right.
Black Fox's kid?
Right. So yeah. So this is the tale of two books, right? The one book is the book that's going for what, $3.99 or $4.99, right? And you've got all types of stuff going on inside the story. You've got the security manager who's saying, "Yeah, I've got this under control. I've got the cameras everywhere. I've got my security guards everywhere." But then you got Black Cat who just slips in through the front door, right? And then he's like, "Man, I've vetted all these people," but then it turns out that half the kitchen staff went home because they're sick. And then the guy that's inside his own office, he's an ex-con, right? And then later on, like you guys are just talking about, you got the whole thing about the Black Fox, whose first appearance was in Amazing Spider-Man number 255. And like you're saying, like I really don't see any reference to him being the father of Black Cat. So that would be interesting if this is the first mention of that. Now, it's been out for a week already, and it has not gone up in price. Well, so here's the deal of what's been going on with that, right?
Oh.
When it was FOC, there was a 1 to 200, right? So that was going to cost you about $200, right? Now the problem, and that was like an art germ, which was a really great art, right? But then after FOC, 2 weeks after FOC, right before the book comes out, Marvel solicits a 1 to 500. That is the J. Scott Campbell Virgin Black Cat, right? It's pretty good, right? But if you went ahead and you fucking ordered that from your local comic book shop, you would be under the water right now, because it is going out there for like $250.
Sorry, which covers that?
It's a J. Scott Campbell Virgin. As a 1 to 500. So you would probably be paying $500, and you would be getting a cover that's only worth like $250 right now. Wow. Nobody's chasing this. I'm not chasing it, especially for $250. I prefer the art germ. So I mean, I think everybody that's going to read this has already read it. So if this was going to push up in price, this revelation, it's not pushing it up at all right now.
Just the back of, sorry, can I just interject for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Just as a sidebar to Lucas, I do know that over here in the UK, the standard J. Scott Campbell book hasn't been fulfilled in comic book shops.
Really?
Yeah, they've been short stacked.
Huh.
And they're saying that they'll get them the week after, but for right now, there is a low amount of the J. Scott Campbell standard cover book of this Black Cat.
So just the standard, just the cover A is what you're saying.
Yeah. Cover A is being short stacked.
So that's interesting, right? So what you would have to do is find out like how many Amazing Spider-Man customers are out there, right? And then you go to like how many UK shops are over there, and you subtract that from that number, and that's how many cover A's are actually out there right now. So that's pretty interesting information that you got to know. So if the cover A is out there, I guess that cover D probably hasn't made it over there as well. So interesting stuff.
And gentlemen, I'm gonna correct myself. So I'm just looking back on this issue, and Black Fox is not Black Cat's dad. It's the man. He is the man who taught her father. I misread the panel. I apologize.
You got distracted by the legs.
That's what it's meant to be.
There was cleavage in that shot, and I was not really reading the panel. So
yeah.
So I think this is this book is a bit of a Mr. Fantastic for me, and a lot of it is simply because I couldn't read the book without thinking Catwoman instead of Black Cat, and so I guess it didn't really kind of separate itself enough for me.
Okay.
For me, it was the tale of two books. For the $4.99, the 3 stories, and the main story, it was a flame on, really good direction. But for it to have a 1 to 500, that is an absolute clobber. Like, what the heck are you thinking? There was nothing really new or interesting, or any new characters that should have made it 1 to 500.
There you go.
All right. So let's jump into the epilogue to Hunted and the Amazing Spider-Man number 23, where we have writer Nick Spencer, joined by original series artist Ryan Ottley, and we get it is, I guess, a true epilogue, right? Because the story's over. The last issue kind of ended with Kraven dying again. and and the kind of like basically this is a mop-up issue, right? So this is where you have Kraven's cloned son, or the only one left, actually taking over the mantle of Kraven the Hunter. So even though Kraven is dead, long live Kraven. And the first few pages of this issue, and so, forgive me for not enjoying kind of like pictorial issues, the pictures where you just you're just looking at the artwork and there's no dialogue. Some of it can be pretty powerful when done the right way. But you have a few pages here where it's just kind of like a funeral service for Kraven dressed up in the black Spider-Man suit, and dirt being thrown on him, and then young Kraven just kind of going nutso, and that for me it was kind of a waste of 4 pages. There should have been some dialogue in there for me. And then just kind of looking back on you have the Avengers and the Fantastic Four showing up to kind of subdue all of the animal themed villains that were still in Central Park. And then you get, the forming of the Savage Six, which I don't see a point. It's cool because they're all classic Spidey villains with the exception of Cobra, right? But you have Vulture and Tarantula, Scorpion, Rhino, and Stegron the Dinosaur Man because he's cool. But then you get some wrapped up stuff. You have Black Ant and Taskmaster kind of reuniting, so I guess they're going to be like the Laurel and Hardy of the villain scene on a continuing basis. And then you have the realization that the Lizard, who last issue kind of took out his microchip that was making him not give in to his savage side, is now loose and not returning to his family, who is reunited by the Black Cat, who's injured here, but apparently fine in her book. And then you have Spider-Man thinking that the dream sequence that he had with Mary Jane in the last issue, that it had come true, but realized that she had just slipped and put her hand through the window. And but he comes through with the black costume on, and she kind of flips out. But then eventually everything is hunky-dory. But we have this little centipede at the end of this book, which is the foreshadowing of this villain that they've been pimping out on us since issue 1. We're going to finally get a little storyline with this guy who we don't even know his name, right?
Bugman.
So,
Right. Right.
The only thing is, so I'm gonna make this leap because apparently Marvel's preview issue of this book cut off the last page, which apparently they didn't want us to kind of give away the spoiler of the last page of this issue. But I mean, any Spider-Man fan really kind of knows who this villain is on the last page, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Go on
I don't
then.
know if I don't know.
Well,
Oh, okay. If you want, do you want me to spoil it? It's clearly the Chameleon.
Oh, really? And that's all you can change into a bug?
No, not that guy. I'm talking about the guy standing over Craven's grave at the end of this issue,
Right.
Yeah.
who gives out this big long eulogy, and then as he's talking, his skin is turning a different color, and then we don't get the last page, but it's clearly Chameleon, right?
That's what I was thinking. That's the only one I can think that it could be.
Well,
It would actually-
Chameleon has history with Craven too, so that's that's a thing. So that's, I mean, it has to be Chameleon. So sorry Marvel for not giving us the last page, but you don't have to spoil us. I liked this issue, the last part of it, and the best part about this issue is that there's no Humberto Ramos art, which if you've been reading, he get like ever since Johnny has kind of shined a light on him about how horrible he is. Every month we get his book. It's okay. He's getting worse and worse, and everybody, it's all torsos and thin, spindly limbs.
So you're leaving that on my doorstep, are you? I'm sorry, I can take it. It's fine.
Well,
Fine.
you know what?
I've commented about books in the bin cancelled. I'll take the heat. It's fine. just don't sue me for any sort of like lost pay. That'd be great.
So anyway, overall, this book is a flame on for me. I mean, the overall storyline I thought was good. And there was some bumps in the road as you can expect, but I think that overall it wrapped up pretty well, except for the fact that I totally feel like I've read this before. So,
Okay.
flame on. Lucas, what did you think?
Now, as far as this particular issue, it was the closing of the issue. Like, this is not a standalone issue. This is the whole. I'm looking at it as a whole storyline, and the whole storyline is a flame on issue. The whole funeral thing, I didn't care for. I could have cared less. The whole thing of going back to Mary Jane, she's freaking out. The whole thing about the centipede, that's freaking pretty good. This is the big mystery. And what's interesting is that speculators are not freaking trying to figure this whole thing out. They could care less right now. Now, the big thing that I think people are missing out on is, this is the turning over of the mantle from the original Craven to the last son of Craven. That's all we know his name is as. His first appearance was in the Amazing Spider-Man number 19 for here in 2019. So if that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if that particular issue would now go up in price, or will this issue go up where people go crazy because this is basically a new character turning over. Because I mean, goddamn it, if the Immortal Hulk freaking Hulk is a big freaking character, and all he did was they just change his powers a little bit, then why shouldn't this new guy who is, I know he's a clone of Craven, why shouldn't he be a big character? But and that's my 2 bits in my soapbox. But once again, whole storyline, flame on, except for a couple of panels here and there.
All right, Johnny.
Right, so I must be.
I love it when you start it like that. That's so English. You're gonna kill it, and it's Roy.
Okay, right, okay. Right.
Oh, sorry, you're killing me. Go ahead.
I haven't been keeping up on this story. I kept an eye on the book, I flick through it every time it comes in, but I don't read it because I actually hate the idea of them revisiting Craven's Last Hunt or Fearful Symmetry, depending on which name you want to call it, in pretty much the same way that I wasn't fond when Scott Snyder went and did 0 Year when Batman Year One is fantastic from the get-go. There is no point, especially after so many issues. The only point of this story is to scare Mary Jane in the black costume and to get a new Kraven the Hunter, which, if memory serves right, we already had at the prelude point, because it was Kraven and all these clones. Why did I have to read all the other books to get to that point, which I already started at? I don't get it. It might be me, but I've said this before. I am more interested in Spider-Man when it's Peter Parker. Spider-Man puts on the mask, goes out, beats whoever it is. That's how Spider-Man works. For me, I like the relationship aspect of this, of what Spider-Man could be. This book, no, it just hasn't. It's kind of been like one long, elongated fight thing, and I'm just, you know what? You're absolutely right. I've read it before, and not only have I read it before, I've read it before when it was done so much better. Why am I even thinking about this book? The art. Otley's MJ is just plain awful. It's just awful.
Really?
She's bland. She looks like Ariel from The Little Mermaid. It's just no. She
doesn't look glamorous like a Todd McFarlane MJ.
Well, it's not that, but she's supposed to be a hottie. She's supposed to be all that. And this whole ditzy, I fell through and broke. I've been saying for ages now, there's something off about MJ, you know. And I fell and broke and smashed my hand on some glass. It's like, are you having my eyes? If she's that scared of the black costume, she would have reacted in a stronger way. I think this book. I originally wanted to give it an Invisible Woman, but the more I'm actually talking about it, I'm clobbering it. I'm just glad we're getting back to regular scheduled programming. Please. Thank you.
All right.
No need for this arc in any shape, way, or form. Thank you. Done. Next book, please.
All right. So, getting away from that, so let's jump to our final review. We're gonna do I can't even remember, the Immortal Hulk number 19. And Lucas, I'll let you take the helm on this one.
Okay. So for those readers out there, if you guys don't have this in your pull list, I don't know what the heck you're doing. This is a must-have in your list. Collect it, keep it, because this is the one that everybody's keeping their eye on. Written by Al Ewing, who's really doing big things this year. The cover done by Alex Ross, I believe.
Yes, it is.
And Greg Smallwood's in there. I think Manuela Lupacino, she's doing a Spider-Man armor suit cover, which is pretty interesting. So for this book, I think it's so great how he takes an overlooked part of Betty's past. What I'm talking about is her brief stint as the Hulk villain, the Harpy, and he melds it with the current situation in Hulk. And just that small bit of information increases my investment in her story tenfold. Absolutely. Ewing understands how to decompress a story like nobody's business. Man, I mean, this guy's got talent. I haven't really read any of his other stuff that comes to my mind, but this means that he's slowly but surely going on the level of Don Cates with this stuff. Also, what's interesting about what's been going on with the Immortal Hulk is the new Abominations full design, which was actually involved in the Immortal Hulk number 18. I don't think people were aware of that. The page which introduced him as Rick was pretty interesting. Joe Burnett nails the design of Abomination and a menacing premise of the seamless smiling creature in each and every single page. I'm loving the freaking hands over the freaking eyes and just the one little red eye peeking out. Be damned the freaking dialogue. I care about that. The freaking art throughout this thing is freaking interesting. Harpy freaking just digging in the freaking chest of the freaking Hulk and just freaking eating it out. Abomination fucking spewing acid everywhere, fucking just killing the Hulk, who is supposed to be a monster in his own right. Just absolutely freaking amazing. So for me right now, this book is a flame on, absolutely, and just another great addition to the series for this year so far. What did you guys think?
Johnny, what did you think?
Hulk melt. Uh, so, what a surprisingly good read this book was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of when someone, I think it was Lucas who suggested, no, it was yourself, but who suggested this. I was like, oh, Hulk book, really? Oh, yeah. But start off, it's pretty much as you'd expect. Hulk versus Abomination, great, saying that already. But then things change warp speed. The mutated Betty literally breaks Hulk's heart. And you probably have the most horrific issue of Marvel comic that's been put out all year. And that's saying a lot because you've been through some scary crap with this book already. I like the whole idea about how Hulk was his pleas. He's kind of like, he sounds like Frankenstein's monster in he's like, he doesn't understand what's going on. I'd be interested to see how he comes back from this because he is pretty much, dead now.
Well,
But-
see, right. So that's the interesting thing about the Immortal Hulk. So you can kill him, smash him, do whatever, and he'll be dead tonight. But by tomorrow night, he should come back somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the new change.
All right, okay. The art didn't always work for me. It's quirky, and it had just enough horror vibe throughout the book, which helped to set the scene, of course, and set the tone. The clothes are a lot darker than I expected, which again keeps the morbid factor high. I'm going to give this a Mr. Fantastic, mainly because the Hulk is not my favorite character in any shape, way, or form. So I get that they're trying to do different things. I like that they're doing different things with this book. I think Al Ewing is absolutely bang on with his horror vibe. I'm interested in seeing where it goes. I don't know.
So I'm gonna agree with you on a lot of points, Johnny. But this is probably the biggest flame on book for me that Marvel has had. Well, year to date. But if we could talk about just the series in itself for a minute, and Al Ewing has taken so many chances with the Hulk, because I really kind of feel like we've read all the Hulk stories before, and you can't really do the same Hulk stories. And to be able to keep the book kind of how you think of it, but really add that horror element to it, and just kind of have it take off the way it has. And if I'm not correct, tell me. But I believe that this book is currently outselling Batman.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it?
Yes, it is. By Comicron's numbers, yes, Immortal Hulk is outselling Batman.
So, and I want to kind of shout out Joe Bennett for a minute, because I remember his work in I think Captain America like 10 years ago or so, which is like the first place I ever saw him. But he has grown in leaps and bounds, and I think his whoever's inking, I think it's Roy Jose. Is it, the inks complement his pencils to a T, to just kind of give this book the overall feeling of fear and horror, and kind of take you in a direction that, the Hulk has always at its center never really been a superhero book. It's kind of always been a horror book if you really kind of look at it, the way that Bruce Banner and the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing is kind of a scary proposition, a scary feeling to even think that you're going to lose control of yourself. And they've always kind of looked at the Hulk as more being a superhero. Now they're kind of looking at him being more of a horror figure, and all these characters that they had surrounded with himself, and like them reintroducing Doc Samson and Betty Ross, and bringing back Rick Jones, and all these characters that have been Hulks previously, and that they're all immortal now, and how horrifying is that? right? Like that, they can't die. And Betty Ross she gets killed, and she's come back as the Harpy, right? And you get Rick Jones, who has been dead for a couple of years now, but he comes back, and now he's this Abomination. And as bad as the Abomination has always been the hokiest looking Hulk villain ever, but now he looks absolutely terrifying with the hands on his face and the extra mouths, and I'm just like, oh my god. And then what I'm thinking is Rick Jones is trapped in that body, right? And so Banner being trapped in the Hulk is one thing, right? Because at least the Hulk kind of looks human. But can you imagine like how Rick Jones is feeling trapped in this body that he can't even talk, And to me, I was just like, it really kind of brought me to that place of like, what am I reading right now? And this is really kind of it's something I haven't read before, and I agree with Johnny 100%. The Hulk is not my favorite character in any way, shape, or form. But what Al Ewing is doing right now on this book is something that we haven't seen before, and it's made Hulk readable to me. Made me care. It's made me care about him way more as a character. But Al Ewing does his research, and Lucas, you said you haven't read anything that he's done previously, but if you go back and you pick up his Ultimates run, and if you pick up his Inhumans run,
Yeah.
he has a handle on past Marvel history more than any other writer that's working for Marvel, and he's believe me, he's mining all this Hulk stuff, and I can't wait to see what he throws in there to wrap it up, because what are we on, 18 issues now, 19 issues?
19, yes.
I mean,
Yep.
to me, this could be open-ended, and he could go on forever as far as I'm concerned. But I do know, this is Marvel, so I imagine, maybe we have another 5 or 6 issues of this run before he probably moves on to the next book. But I could read Al Ewing's Hulk nonstop. I think it's the best way they've treated this character, and how horrifying is that last page with him? It's just the torso being like torn open with Harpy eating his glowing heart.
Yep.
With her glowing eyes looking like almost like she's looking right at you.
Yep.
It's scary.
Like, yeah, like, bitch, you're next. Right?
Yeah. I was looking at it going, oh my god. And this, how many times in this book did because in this book, it's kind of told from the perspective of Betty Ross stuck inside the Harpy. When she keeps saying, "This is me," all I could think of is the Hugh Jackman movie that had that "This Is Me" song. And every time she said "This is me," I had that song going through my head, and it made the book even that much more horrifying. And I was just like, "Oh my god!" So anyway, I can't flame on this book high enough. It really is deserving of the following that it's getting, and I wish Marvel could put out 10 more books like this, because it's amazing. So flame on.
Lucas.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I've already told you guys what I think about it. I mean, it was, the Red Harpy, she definitely brings a definitely new element to it. People don't realize that her first appearance was in, her first cameo was in number 14. Then her first full was in number 18, the issue right before this. People, the speculators, they jumped the boat and they picked up the what was it, She-Hulk, Red She-Hulk number 12 or number 15 for some freaking reason, and they got duped. But you said it all, man. Freaking. And what was interesting that set this up really nicely is if you guys read last week's Incredible Hulk number 1, that one shot,
Yes.
and where they talk about the relationship between Banner and Betty Ross. That was really nice. That helped me go into this going like, okay, this is what she's thinking behind it. So even though she's literally ripping out his freaking heart, knowing full well of how this whole thing with the Hulk works, I'm not sure if she's not doing that to save him, because by killing him, then he gets to regenerate even quicker the next day. So that's what I'm going to be looking forward to see in number 20 the next month this comes out. We were talking about the numbers a little bit earlier. The numbers that I have is for April. DC came out with 2 Batman books, number 86 and number 87, I believe it was, and they were both outsold by the Immortal Hulk by at least 2,000. So if that's any indication of what people are asking for or want, that's where it is right now. As far as the cover that people are going to be looking for, I mean, there's a few covers out there, Storage Senders, whatever. But the one that seems to have people's interest is there's a Mike Deodato red sketch version that's out there. It's limited to only 500 printed. So if you're looking to speculate on this one, that would be the one to do, even though I'm not sure why. There's no new characters in this that people should really be hunting down. If you're going to be hunting down, it should be number 18. But this is such a good freaking issue that I don't see why not, as long as it's cheap enough for you. And that's all I got to say about that.
So look at this last page of Hulk, and let me. And I don't know if this is meant to be. I'm sure it's meant to be like this, but doesn't Hulk look hollow on the inside?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Where's the skeleton? I'm sure that's intentional, but he just looks like a shell. So maybe Bruce Banner kind of just pops out of him or something. I don't know. It's interesting though. All right, so yeah, flame on for me. What else is going on? Anything else going on interesting, or are we done for this week?
I think we're done for this week.
Whoa! Isn't there a Marvel movie out right now? That's just recently.
Oh,
no, there's not. No, there's not. Game over.
Oh, we're talking about X-Men Dark Phoenix that opened up on Friday?
Yes.
Has anybody actually seen it?
I have
going
not
on Tuesday.
seen it.
I'm going Tuesday to see
So, well, I would say this is probably the last Fox collaboration with the mutants. So I would say if you're going to go see it, go see it. It might be a collector's item soon.
Or it could just ruin the prices and everybody just dumps it.
I don't know. I quite liked the last Uncanny X-Men issue. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was really good fun. The whole Black Queen, or Black King, I should say. It ties in some of the stuff that was happening in Uncanny X-Men whilst everyone else is in Age of X-Men. So over here, the X-Men have been on a bit of a loser for quite a time already. There's not. I think I've said before, the book that my guys, the local comic book shops, order the least at the minute is X-Men books. So
that's interesting, huh? I mean, do you think that's going to go up with Hickman taking over X-Men next month?
I don't know. I would like to think that Hickman can do a good job. My issue would probably be that what is it that's going to be different? I have an X-Men related question though, if you're interested.
Sure.
Yes. Who do you prefer, Scott Summers with the White Queen or with Jean Grey? Or alternatively, do you not just give a crap anyway?
I could care less.
Okay.
I'm more interested in what's going on with him as Miss Marvel at the moment.
I like him with the White Queen because I think the White Queen is sexier than Jean Grey.
As redheads everywhere turn off the podcast. Brilliant.
And blondes tune in. Yeah. I don't know. I think White Queen was I think a better match for Scott actually. I think Jean. I think I always saw Jean ending up with Logan. So that's just me, and Chris Claremont, by the way. So
I don't know. Logan's always been a hoe, so I don't think it matters who he goes out with.
Isn't that most of the X-Men?
Yeah, they've all got kids and different area codes, man, all over the place.
That mutagen does certainly get spread around a bit.
What do we call them? We call them the X-Men, right? That's
yeah, that's,
the X's, the X-Men.
yeah, that would be a fun show still.
Yep, it would just be all the jilted lovers of the X-Men, all on a team.
They'll probably all turn up and realize that I'm still going out with you. Not now.
I'm with Wolverine now.
Yeah, Wolverine's with everybody. Everybody loves Wolverine.
It's that
So, yeah.
Musk. It's that Musk. You know.
That's how it works. Oh
Yep.
man.
All right, so well, that's going to do it for this episode of No Prize Podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and we will be back in a fortnight. See how I did there, Johnny?
You did well done.
And hopefully, if Marvel stays with us, we will be ahead of the game in the comic book situation.
Well, that would be fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Adios.
All right. Bye. Drink responsibly.
Does that mean after noontime?
Wait a second. Noontime in what? In which time zone?
Right. Right.
Because over here, I get a drink 5 hours earlier than everybody else.
Right. It's always 5 p.m. somewhere. Right.
Oh yeah.
This is true.
Cheers to 5 p.m.